soon as you get that. All right, guys. So I want to share with you on a trip that we actually went recently to the mountains. The wife and kids and I took the Jayco, which again, to refresh your memory, if you don't know, if you do know, sorry. But anyway, we have a 2008 Jayco Flight. It is a 26BH, which is a bunkhouse. I'd like to introduce it to you if you haven't seen it. Second of all, give you some insight on some of the issues or some trouble that I've run into owning this. Great camper, love it. Don't have a problem with, with just wear and tear. That's the kind of items we're dealing with. Anyway, just want to go over a couple things with you. Got my daughter recording, so we're kind of working together here. We'll see if it works well for us. If it's kind of jumpy, we apologize. But we're going to walk around and show you a little bit about it. So first off, up on the top on the roof, there's of course a Coleman Mach air conditioner unit, which was one of my issues on my last trip. The actual blower of the unit, I was having to jump start it by hand. So when I came back into town, come back home, that was one of my first priorities, to try to figure it out, what was causing to do that. And so what I have done, I have bought a new motor for it. Bought a new run capacitor. Tried the motor first, that didn't fix it. So I'm like, okay, what the heck? I'm still having to spin it, still have to rotate it. Went to my local I bought the motor off of Amazon, by the way. You can get that. It's not, I don't want to really go into the details of part numbers, because your part number is definitely different than mine unless you have a Mach, Coleman Mach. Anyway, but I wanted to go into a couple other things. So I went to my local RV dealer. For me here, it was in Concord, North Carolina. But that being said, I went and bought a run capacitor. Spent like $18. The motor I bought, by the way, was around $100 for the blower. Put that in, discovered it wasn't the issue. Like I said, I went to the local RV dealer here, which is called, would be, what is it? Camping World in Concord, North Carolina. And went and bought a run capacitor, discovering that the run capacitor also was not the problem. Put that in, of course, I'm troubleshooting. One other thing I purchased also for that unit, and this was an option for me, I'm not saying it is for your unit, but was that the ability to put a heating element in it. I can give you a demonstration on that if you'll follow me on in here. So this is inside of unit. Please excuse the mess. I'm in the process of doing some repairs, as you see. But anyway, so up in this unit here, there is the ability to put a heating element up in it. And I put that in there as well. So basically what I did, what I was referring to a minute ago, was I was having to jump start the motor, was I was loosening all these screws, taking down this foil or this sheeting, and getting to the actual motor, the squirrel cage, however you want to call it, and spinning it by hand. Now the unit is working to where it's, I've got that working now like I need to have it working. And what it was not a run capacitor. It was not a blower. It was actually the start. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I said it correctly. I said it wrong. I bought a run capacitor. That was my problem. A run capacitor, not a start. That is what I went and bought from Camping World. Anyway, that all being said, that is now working. Being that we are in fall and going back to the mountains with this unit, we want to have heat. So I went ahead and put the element in. Like I said, it was an option that does not come with the unit. It was an option that I could put in. I found this little plug sitting right here. And I was like, well, how cool is that? What is that? And then I noticed a little bit of tape here. It says an optional heating element. And I thought, well, that's pretty cool. And I noticed there was a setting on here. Again, we've been using the unit probably for 2 years and never knew that was there until I pulled this down in order to find out that my run capacitor was bad. Highly recommend checking your run capacitors if you're having an issue. How to diagnose that, I can't tell you, other than purchasing and replacing. That's pretty much what I did. So basically, let's kind of sum it up just a bit on that unit. So I installed a heating element. I put a run capacitor in it. Of course, now it's got a new blower and a new startup capacitor. But now that unit's done. Along our trip, on our last camping trip, I was pulling out of a parking lot in Asheville, North Carolina, and was a little low. So I've got a stabilizer in the front that I have bent pretty good. Just happened to, the truck sitting like this, and it kind of scraped in. So I've got to work on that. Another thing that I have, if you'll take them outside, we will look over here on this side. Come on around here. So also in the last trip, we had our door to our air conditioner unit blow off. So this was here basically, and I've taken it off. I'm in the process of repairing and taking it off. But the actual piece that comes to blow, the actual vent cover, more like, this has to be covered. And I don't mean with a piece of plastic. I don't mean if you don't, your air conditioner will not work. Or excuse me, your refrigerator will not work because it needs the airflow to exhaust the heat. There is an exhaust vent that goes to the top, which you want to make sure that that is clear and no obstructions whatsoever. But like I said, this was damaged. So what I'm going to do here in this situation is I'm going to put new butyl tape, which is something you can buy on Amazon or your local RV dealer. New butyl tape around the edges of it. Excuse me. There we go. Come on this way. Let's show them the new vent. It's a little tight in here, so we're trying to work with the camera. But anyway, so I bought a new vent cover. I have the actual plastic piece that you saw there a minute ago, the new one that goes on this. But this is what I'm referring to. This is what, if you see, there's a vent hole, so that the exhaust as well as airflow can go through the system and keeping your refrigerator cool. So anyway, I wanted to show you what I'm going to do to put this in. So my plan is, my plan, I guess you would call it. I bought a roll of butyl tape from my local RV dealer. Again, that was Camping World for me in Concord, North Carolina. And I'm going to take butyl tape and put it around the edges, reattach and screw that unit back in. It needs to go back in properly. Now I wanted to show you the stabilizer here in the front. This is the stabilizer that I bent pretty good. You can see it's not really sitting in the proper direction. So I've got to take that off. This is not, well, when we bought the unit, we bought it used, okay, but when we bought the unit, we also noticed that the rear stabilizer, my dad helped me pull that off when he was in town, helped me pull it off, and we straightened it out. So I'm hoping to do that with this unit here. Again, just as kind of a little recap, we are going to work on the stabilizer. We're going to put the new vent cover on the refrigerator. I've already worked on that air conditioning unit. I might have a little bit of footage that I took some video of being up there with it. I might be able to throw it in this video, maybe at the end. But anyway, I just wanted to share that with you guys. I'm going to take a moment, do what, kind of work on a part, and I'll show you what it looks like after it's all completed. And then, of course, we'll move on to the next steps in this video. But like I said, this is more of not really showing you how to do it, but more of a showing you what I've run into in my time of doing this. But listen, just hang tight, and we'll be back with you here shortly. Okay guys, so we're back here at the refrigerator vent that I'm replacing and doing the repair on, or actually reinstalling a new one. When I took this off, I discovered a lot of butyl tape around here, which is a good idea. It is. So I was thinking, it's kind of cool out for us. It's about 45 degrees right now, about 43 when I started. But now it's starting to get warmer. The butyl tape, of course, was like ice, and it was hard to work with. So I don't recommend this. This is what I did. I took my torch, which is probably, you know, what are you holding the torch for next to a camper? You know, but anyway, I took a putty knife and a razor, excuse me, a putty knife and a propane tank or a torch, and I heated up my blade, and just kind of gently, and I do mean gently, cut that off. Now I don't have it perfectly clean here in this situation, but I'm working on that. But it was a lot globbier, or I don't know if that's the word, even a word, but a lot of globs of butyl tape that went around the exterior of this opening. But this is what I came across, and this is what worked for me. You can also use a hair dryer and try to heat it up, or a heat gun. Now again, remember, you're fooling with heat. There are components in here that do not like heat. So I wasn't like this, okay, if you catch my drift. I was more away from the unit so that it wouldn't get anything, any wires or heating like that. But this is what worked for me. I'll give you a demonstration of what I'm referring to. So if I can get this torch to do what it's supposed to do. There we go. Just heating it up just as easy like this, you know, just heating up just a little bit. And then I'm just gently, and I mean gently, rubbing. You'll notice that it just comes right off very easily. Just come right off. Now, I'm not gonna get too fancy with this lower half. What I'm trying to really work on is this upper half, which is where it will be seen visibly from the exterior of the vehicle. So just gonna heat it up again like so, and then I'm gonna gently, you see how that just kind of comes off like butter, and again like that, just real easy. And I'm not really pushing a whole lot. I'm just basically just pushing down on this. Okay, so I'm gonna do that one more time. Again, this is a torch. This is flame. If you use this method, you need to pay attention to what you're doing. You can hurt yourself or hurt something. So let's just be gentle and lower it down on it. This is an idea. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean this up, and I'll check back with you here in just a second and show you what I've accomplished. And let's cut that off. But how I want to look and how I think it should look, so that the outside rim of the new vent cover will not really show. This won't be visible, and that's what I really want to do. Who wants a rig that looks, you know, shabby and not clean? So check back with me here in a second, and we'll talk with you then. Okay guys, so we are putting butyl tape around the exterior, or the inside of the vent cover shroud, I guess you would call it. I don't know what to really truly call it, but this is the piece that goes into the wall. Then of course the vent cover clicks into this and ties in, or, you know, locks in. But what I'm doing now, this is butyl tape. For those of you who don't know what butyl tape is, on most of your RVs, well, I'd say all RVs have this in some form of fashion, a butyl tape, and it comes in a roll. This was like $8. You can buy it on Amazon. I happened to be at the RV dealership and noticed this was cheaper at the RV dealership than it was at Amazon. That's why I bought it there. But I have bought it for another rig or another RV that I had, bought butyl tape, and I bought it from them anyway on Amazon. But that being said, so what I'm doing is I'm going to do a little more than what you probably should do, just because I'm trying to clean or make a cleaner look. So what I'm going to do is, of course, run around the edge here. You see already around the edges, and I'm working on going completely around the whole side. And then once I do that, you'll see right here, just going to run it across the edges. And then my plan was to maybe come right here on the edge with another piece, another piece of this, like this. Just run it kind of like that. I don't know. I've got some areas where I want the butyl tape to be seen because it's cleaner, but yes, it will eventually detract dirt, so that may not be a good idea. I'm still thinking what the best way to do this is. I just want it to be a clean appearance. I may try using some alcohol to remove some of the residue that was left from the old one. You know, this, your rig, your idea, your plan. This is what I'm trying. I just want it to be a clean appearance. You know, there's nothing like walking in or riding into a dealer, not a dealer, into a RV park and you got somebody that looks like they just crawled out of the Beverly Hillbillies. I don't want my rig to look like that. I want my rig to be clean, and I want my towing vehicle to be clean as well. So that's what I'm trying to go with the cleanest appearance I can go with. So what works for you in your application, you know, go for it. But I'm gonna go ahead and finish putting this butyl tape on, and I'll check back with you here in just a second. Okay guys, so we're getting ready to, I've got the butyl tape around the edges of the rim here, and I'm getting ready to apply. Do you see how this is kind of trashy and not really clean? So I think what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to use alcohol to wipe this down instead of taking a whole complete another ring around the butyl tape. So what I'm doing to align this, and you can't tell it but these holes where it screws into the actual frame of the vehicle, what I'm doing is I'm taking two of my screws and I'm pushing them through the butyl tape. See, right now there's actually screw holes here behind this. You can't really see it, but I'm putting these to align with my hole on the top. There's, of course, there's like 17 hole screws here, but that all being said, so I'm just going to set it up like so. There we go. And then I'm going to just give it a gentle press into place. Then I grab my drill and I'm going to zip in. Now in this situation here, I'm using an impact. If you're familiar with one, you know, then you know how you're doing it. But I'm going to turn my impact down to a low setting so that I'm not driving these screws at 100 miles an hour through there. And I'm tapping it into place because it is you know, campers aren't really true 2x4s and more like furring strips. But anyway, so I'm just going to gently press this all into place. And another thing I thought about maybe doing was running some caulk around here, or I'll run the butyl tape that I'll heat up. I haven't decided yet, but you'll see when I get done. Just gently putting that in there. Yeah, see, there's a nice big track behind here. I may try to fill that with butyl tape. I just want it to look good and be clean. The sound of my impact sounds aggressive, I understand that, but it's not. It's just, just the way I'm running it. Run it real slow and real gentle. This is plastic, and like I said, probably furring strips behind this. Don't get crazy with it. All right, like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and put all this. I'm gonna go ahead and put all this in, and I'll check back with you here in just a second. Okay, guys. So I've got the screws in around the edge of the band or the casing here. What I'm using here is actually a credit card or a piece of. I'm using this situation as a gift card, but I'm using it to be gentle on this paint. I don't want to gouge it, and I'm thinking that plastic might be the option here. A plastic putty knife, you know, you get the idea. And I'm using alcohol to clean this area as best as I can. I'm using 70%, 90% would be better. Of course, you see another bottle of 50 there, but I'm using a higher end of caulk. And what I'm just trying to do is break down this this residue. And the best I'm going to get, the best I can get it, you know. So my plan is to. Now also I'm going to take caulk, and I'm going to go over with the caulk around the edges and rims of it. I want to make sure it's that, you know, that it's sealed properly and that it's good enough. I just see a screw right here that's a little bit loosey. There we go. All right. so I'm gonna take my caulk. Your caulk, your preference, you decide what you want to do, but that's what I think I'm going to do in this application, because I want, not that I'm worried that the butyl tape is not going to do its job. I do. I just want something white to here. This is what I'm using here is a 50-year caulk guarantee. I always wondered when I see that on a bottle, 50 years. So are you going to be there in 50 years? I'm going to bring this back to you and say, hey, by the way, Depp, you did not, in this situation, Depp, you did not hold up to 50 years. But anyway, a little comical joke for you there. But anyway, I'm going to just basically take my finger, and if you've ever used caulk, you know it's kind of got a sticky substance to it. But if you keep your finger like so, if you keep it kind of moist, I'm not saying eat the caulk. What I'm saying is just keep, you know, a nice little fill here. Let's see if this is going to behave for me. Okay guys, so now I've got my caulk ready to go. Notice it was also a little bit cold for the caulk, so that's why, not that I recommend this, but this is what I did in my application. I put it in the microwave for just a slight, literally 5 to 10 seconds. You don't want it to explode and then your wife's jumping your hind end about you blew up her microwave or did something crazy. But anyway, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to apply it into this hole here. Just like so. It is still very hard to get in there. And again, what I'm trying to do is clean this up the best that I can. I may still use a bit of acetone. Again, a product that you want to be very gentle with. This paint has got some age to it. This is an 08, as I said. So you don't want to rub off the white in this situation, or whatever color your rig is. But anyway, guess check back with me a second. I'll show you what this looks like after it's all said and done. All right, guys, I wanted to recap with you on this vent cover. So I've already installed it all. So I put my caulk. My caulk is not as clean as I want it to be in this area. It looks a little bit better, but anyway, it's now in place and done. Next project, that's going to be the stabilizer. Now we're going to go to the other side here, and we're going to get the stabilizer off down here at the bottom and straighten it out, fix it the way it needs to be fixed. Now that it starts to rain a little bit, but let's get that done. Alright guys, I wanted to take a moment and show you a little bit about this RV, well, this rig. A few things that I've upgraded. Also, sitting here thinking in my head, I'm like, I know I did some more of the things that I have not shared with you guys, but so I also added an LED strip above my head, which runs across right here at the top. Okay, runs all the way across the top. Let me turn the camera around and I'll show you. So I also added this LED strip, which runs right across here. And of course the RV or the camper did not have it. I'm in the process of still doing, I've got to take this back off, and I did it the other night, but I thought I would show you guys just as an upgrade you can do to your RV. Now I had a few options here. Let me show you the inside, of course. Like I said, excuse the mess here. I'm still working on repairs and things of that nature. Anyway, I had a compartment that used to be here, actually on a stereo that used to be here. I thought, well, we don't really use it. I upgraded the stereo here and put a head unit in. It's actually a Sony head unit, which operates the speakers that are in the ceiling. But anyway, there was a 12 volt system, or a 12 volt power supply, I guess you would call it, or not really a power supply, more like a cord power, 12 volt, whatever you want to call it, right here. So I took some 12 volt wire and ran it up. That's the wire you see here, runs behind the cabinet, and I still got to finish tucking it away, but it runs across here which I put in a, that's what that I took my stripping down, my trim, took it down here and put it in this box. Now I have done this, I did this previously here. I did this previously before, and what I did is I took a transformer, or what they call actually a low profile outlet box, and I put it here, mounted it, of course, and basically ran my wire across, drilled me a little hole right through here, took the power supply to the actual drill, excuse me, to the actual LED strip, and took it out of the container or the pocket it was, and then just kind of made sure my connections were safe. Yes, I know that duct tape isn't really the power, whatever you want to call it, power capable or protecting, but this is something I did. And this is the infrared eye that I lowered down behind it. So there is a, let me see here, here it is. There's a little cap. So this is what it basically looks like when it's all said and done. And that little infrared eye sits down, whoops. Little infrared eye sits down so that I keep a little remote control right here. And of course, this is what I did in our situation, which is pretty cool. I'll give you a little show. I mean, not a show, but more of a demonstration. So on here, when I push the button red, oh, that's blue. It came on from what it was already on. So now you see red, there's green, blue, and I can change the colors to whatever I desire them to be. It's hard for you to see, but that's supposed to be yellow. It is yellow, but the camera's not really picking it up. But that's all in this, and if you really want to get really fancy with it, you can make it flash and do all sorts of tricks, which looks kind of cool if you're actually out in the campground. And of course, my rig being yellow, or not yellow, that's the yellow, what you can see there, and my RV being white, it really reflects up underneath this awning, which giving me a lot of light here in my situation. But anyway, get back to that stabilizer, which is, this is the stabilizer, of course, but not that one. The one I'm working on is the one that's over here on this side here. And again, yeah, I bent the heck out of that sucker, but we're gonna pull that off here in just a second, and I'm gonna repair that, and not really repair it, but more like straighten it back out, get the metal back straight the way it needs to be. Another upgrade I wanted to share with you is these new clips on the stabilizer. You might have seen them if you're in the RVing. It's a new clip. The way it works is you just basically, before you had a pin which had a cotter pin that went underneath it. This one here is the new style. Basically, this is the way it works now. This is another upgrade I did on my stabilizer, or on the rig this go around. So a few new things are being added to the rig so that you know, make things a little bit user friendly, as well as some parts needed to be replaced because of the age of the RV. But anyway, back to it. All right, guys. So I did a number on that, but this is where it came from, up under here, and you'll see that there's another one dropped out over there, and of course one right there, and then of course there. These are your stabilizers. But anyway, so what I did is I just basically drug it in a parking lot, coming out of it parking lot. It was a little bit low for me, and so now I'm just going to bend it back into place, and we'll recap then. Okay, guys, we've gotten the stabilizer taken care of on the camper or rig, however you want to go about it. Just wanted to show that to you, how I got it taken care of. Hold on a minute, let me get it. All right, so you see how I've got it all straightened out now, the best that I can get it. If you'll actually notice, there's a white on it now, and that is lithium grease that I have greased all of the screw rods. I'm not sure exactly the terminology, but the actual shaft that goes from side to side of the actual jack stabilizer, however you want to go about it. So I took all of them down, while I was at it, and I greased all my 4 stabilizers, and then I went ahead and put grease up here on my sway bar. That's what it looks like now that it's all taken. Guys, we are ready for our trip now. Guys, I wanted to thank you for sticking around for this video. Hope you and your family are safe during this pandemic that we got going on right now. In case you are curious why I was preparing, I don't know if I've already mentioned in this video or not, but we are getting ready to head to Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, and well, we're going to take you guys along with us. Actually, you might get a treat on that one, which might be my daughter, or you might meet some of my family members in that next video. But I think my daughter, actually Michaela, she was wanting to help out on the video on that. So, but anyway, guys, thank you so much for sticking around for the video. You know, if you haven't already subscribed, we would appreciate it if you would. I'm going to try to do some more videos on what, you know, people want to see. If you guys have anything you want to see or that I haven't done yet on this channel, please let me know. You know, Christmas is coming around the corner, so pretty soon here we'll be able to put the Christmas decorations up, and you'll see this year's, you know, that whole deal. And but guys, join us on the next video in Pigeon Forge or Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and for Thanksgiving. So guys, thank you so much again. God bless you. Keep safe, and please like and subscribe, and if you would, share this video so that I can get more subscribers. I'd like to make this channel big. But guys, hopefully you found some useful tips on this video. I guess we'll talk with you next time, guys. Thank you so much.